What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 86 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Kurt Helborg attacked Throg outside of Yetchich in a pretty darn fantastic battle, and did manage to survive despite being plagueinated. It was a very risky move, but I was really annoyed about getting this army plagued up, so it was good that we still got the chance to fight with it, despite the massive amount of attrition that it's currently suffering. In addition to that, Simon Moasher managed to continue attacking Luther Harkon's forces at Lustria, rendering Luther Harkon down to only a single settlement and Peck, and we will be taking that as soon as we possibly can, and hopefully destroying Luther Harkon for good, and thereafter beginning to go after Rikarth and after Lord Skrolk. At least that's the plan. We'll see if we can manage to get to it. Also, apparently you guys decided to leave plenty of likes and comments last episode, on par with newer campaigns and stuff, and I guess for now I'm going to be returning this campaign to the quicker update schedule. I never know what to expect, but anyway, in terms of what we got to do this turn, I think we moved all the armies last time around, or at least did all the battles, so it's mostly building stuff. So build stuff we shall. We got a Chapel of Ulrich being built here at Middenheim, which is appropriate. Can't get to the Middenheim Great Temple of Ulrich as yet, and that light, I guess we're going for, well, the public order is actually more or less fine here, so it's not needed. What do we build at Middenheim then? Well, we could build the Wizard Conclave here on the one hand. On the other hand, gunsmiths need to be everywhere because of the lack of steam tanks. I just want steam tanks, man. And you know what, screw it, we'll build the Temple of Ulrich as well because we don't really have them anywhere else. I don't think we need the defenses here, at least at the current time. Yeah, we do have a tendency to build them in many places, but Middenheim is reasonably safe as long as the Norskins are defeated, and it looks like they darn well will be, so we'll leave it at that. What does the... oh, right. The Wizard's Tower will give us additional Luminarch of Hish capacities, but honestly, we're not using that many Luminarchs, so it feels to me like we're probably better off making other things rather than relying on the Luminarchs. We could get a coaching in for the public order, though at 21 once again. It's unlikely to ever be needed, and yeah, we get control out of the Knights of the Wolf, Knights of the White Wolf, I should say, chapter house, and the Knights Panther chapter house. Yeah, the public order here, oh wow, yeah, it's not needed. It's absolutely not needed. This place does make a decent amount of cash, though. I guess we'll build the toll gates, after all. Alright, Wasteland. It's been a few episodes since we've taken any real look at many of the buildings that need to be built, so yeah. Oh, right, we still have the defenses at Gorselinar now and Marienburg, even though Norska's fallen, but you know what, I suppose Dark Elves or something from the Chaos Wastes might sail down, so maybe we'll keep them for now. Myrmidons, we will upgrade you most definitely, and we'll keep an eye on the other stuff. Yes, to toll gates at Akendorf, and, well, we'll hold off on the coaching in for now, because it already gives us what we need, and is a little bit too expensive for what it currently gives us. We can build the Temple of Sigmar, might as well. I'm trying to build the Temples of Sigmar everywhere right now. Clothier at Numas, and I guess for now Fields just to grow Khemri, as we are trying to make it into a cash cow province. With Sorcerer's Islands, let's... oh, no, wait. Because of Noctilus having attacked recently, he's likely to go to the Sorcerer's Islands as well, so we're going to be ignoring that. And Wizard Caliph's Palace is not going to fall, so we can ignore it. Vulture Mountain, however, is a different story. Let's upgrade that landed estate, and, well, I guess we'll just keep building the toll gates since we build them everywhere, and this is in the middle of other provinces after all, which is why it's a good place to build these. Edgig probably doesn't actually need these tall walls anymore, but I think we'll keep them until we've confederated Nordland and stuff. Hopefully the confederations will be happening soon. Let's build that Tailor's Guild at the Moot, rather. Path to the east ignored. Aymara Swamps. Floating Pyramid, well, yeah, we'll probably want to build defenses here. Who knows when the Cult of Pleasure or somebody else will come on down. And I believe believe that's it for the money we have, minus the weaving house that's being built there. And there we go, which means we can end the turn and proceed to next. Let's hope that next turn will finally allow us to confederate Wissenland, because we've been waiting for Nuln and its gun shop, or its cannon foundry rather, for a while. But I'm just going to keep calling it gun shop. Here we go, end turn. Alright, Legion of Chaos is moving around, and yeah, that stack is what has me concerned about the Urson Revivalists, because if it lands, the Ursonites will definitely not be able to defeat it, which is why we have to kind of keep Karl nearby. Even though we have several armies now getting closer and closer to him, he'll soon be able to sail out, and I'd love for him to duel the Demon Prince as well. Supervisor gained for Volkmar IC, which is always a nice pickup for everybody, but otherwise, let's see if anything interesting happens. We've been at war with Clan Pestilence for a while, but they're not really doing anything, and Noctilus is going to attack the Sorcerer's Islands. We're gonna manually fight this super quick. I don't think we can really kill anything, at least it's unlikely, but yeah, it's fine, just let him do it. I don't see how we have a choice in the matter, and we can move, I suppose, the little army out of Kofur and to wherever Encounter Noctilus came out of, and then attack that. We're obviously not going to kill him or the other Necrofex Colossus, but maybe one of the artillery pieces can be brought down. Really, the enemy artillery is going to be too problematic to deal with here. We just don't really have any recourse against it. Let's try to spread everybody out as best we can, and just hope that the artillery targets the units that we want it to target, like so, and then we'll keep one of you back here, like so. I assume they will be charging us. I'm gonna max speed this because, well, we can't kill Noctilus with what we have. Do we want to maybe deploy a little bit on the side here? I think we do. Let's do like that. Alright, and then you guys, well, turn off the skirmish mode. I don't think you need to be running. I do want you to be in range, though, Mr. Mortar, so let's do that. Start battle, and you are not in range. Okay, well, actually, you sort of are. Go forward and attack those Carronades, who are also in range and are already wrecking face with regards to our poor infantry. Alright, back away like so, and speed it up to max now. Yeah, I want to keep the crossbows safe at the very least, and then when they start moving forward, then we'll charge forward ourselves. They're probably going to destroy our mortar before long. Can we knock out one of their artillery pieces? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But we'll give it a try. You know what, maybe we should target this Carronade because it's in the middle of the enemy formation, if nothing else, and just speed it up. We can also charge forward at the enemy rather than allow this to happen, but it seems like they will charge forward a few of their own units, so why not? Alright, come on. Enemy artillery crew are very vulnerable, so we should still be able to take at least some, well, do at least some damage. Now, who do we have approaching us? Animated Hulks, and two Haunting Prometheans. I'd really love to kill off that Necrofex Colossus, though. There's a very decent likelihood that the enemy will simply arise from the dead again, and you know what, let's make you all except you group 2. And do we start moving forward? I guess we start moving forward. Alright, let's go. And you can go forward as well. All range units will target the Necrofex. Everybody else just distract the enemy as best we can. In fact, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to run the swordsmen around to get at the enemy artillery, such that we can destroy them, and hopefully at least some of them won't come back. Every time we weaken one of these guys, it benefits us. Alrighty, and then I guess the range units, well, no, the melee units are just going to try to hold the enemy piles of rotting Prometheans. Not much of a choice in the matter. Alright, come on, swordsmen, and get to those artillery pieces. Looks like one of the Carronades is at least nearly done, despite the damage to our own mortars, and let's try to knock out those rotting... Ooh, they're going for our swordsmen. Now, that's smart. I was not expecting that. I thought they'd ignore them. But good job to the AI for doing so. Alright, go after those animated Hulk. Okay, good. The Halberdiers can hopefully distract them. You head towards the Black Ark Corsairs, and, well, just take as long as you can. I'm going to speed this up again in a few seconds. Just want to head our units towards the enemy's swords. Alright, like so and like so. Our artillery, yeah, there's no way they're bringing down that Necrofex, is there? And yeah, it looks like this Halberdier unit is basically done for. You can head out there then, Mr. Empire Captain. Although, maybe we can actually knock out these animated Hulks. There's a distinct possibility. Alright, well, I guess we can sort of pseudo-cinematic watch this, although everybody will rout very soon because we don't have a proper lord, and the leadership is pretty abysmal. Although, wait 1 second. Can we retarget? Yes, we can. You. Target that enemy unit of mortars. Ignore Noctilus and Swordsman. Just charge. Hopefully the Swordsman will get to where they need to be before the enemy... before the enemy is done. And how's our Empire Captain? Okay, you're in here. That animated Hulk is in trouble. I think you're going to want to distract... Ooh, that looks like it was painful. Yeah, keep attacking those rotting Promethean gunnery mobs. How's that Necrofex Colossus looking? Yeah, it's probably not going to die. Alright, fine. Mortar. Switch target to the Black Arc Corsairs, although it looks like you are going to get charged. You can turn on skirmish mode and try to run away from this, and damn, these mortars are also dying to the enemy artillery pieces. I was really banking on that Necrofex time, but at least the animated Hulks are nearly dead, and I think... Alright, the enemy is summoning units. Oh, please don't tell me that these guys are going to be unable to kill that mortar. And what the heck is this formation? I told you to attack these guys, surround and kill them. Our army will rout soon, so I really want them all dead. Oh, don't tell me they're gonna rout. Alright, come on, at least kill off these animated Hulks. Everybody looks like they're routing right now. I just back off. And did we get that unit of animated... Well, one of the unit of animated Hulks is nearly dead. Oh, come on, a few more shots in that Necrofex. I don't see it happening, but... keep giving it a try. It looks like the Empire Captain might be able to hold on to at least force these Prometheans to rout. And once again, we're only doing this instead of auto-resolving and just to try to get a few more of these extra enemy units killed. Alright, come on, 3 enemies left. Maybe a few of our units will come back, like you, for example. Target the... I'm targeting anybody you can. And yeah, those enemy units are routed, but alright, we've got one of the enemy artillery pieces killed. Good. You need to move and target that Necrofex. Looks like it's not routing. And that's a shame. Alright, you guys all try to charge that Necrofex. And hey, our swordsmen have come back. That's funny. The Noctilus, rather, not Necrofex. He's riding a Necrofex, but he's a Noctilus. I must be really annoyed at this, because I would be in his place. Alright, you guys try to charge forward, just annoy the enemy enough. Come on, go for Necrofex, please. And you guys reclaim your mortars. I doubt that you're going to get any use out of them, mind you, but, you know, give it a try. Alright, at least those animated Hulks are busy chasing us around. Come on. And keep running, buddy. Go for that Necrofex. I'd really love it for it to be dead. Alright, you guys ignore Noctilus and go for the Necrofex. Screw Noctilus. I'm going to speed it up now. We got to get a proper battle going in this, well, battle after all. Alright, come on, is that unit of Hulks nearly dead? Oh, and that's not a unit of Hulks, that's a unit of Black Arc Corsairs. Ignore it more or less for now, and go after that Necrofex Colossus. We're still not bringing down Noctilus, and I'm not even trying. And just bring everything else down if we can. The more damage we deal that way, the better. Alright, it looks like the Necrofex Colossus might actually fall here. You guys go after that rotting Promethean gunnery mob, I think, or maybe distract the enemy animated Hulks. I also see that our Empire Captain either died or did rout, but, you know, and that's just fine. Do you need to keep firing? You know what? Actually, keep firing at this Black Arc Corsair unit. If you can kill it off, that would be real nice. Alright, that unit is dead. Crossbows, you are looking good. I don't even know what to fire you at. Everybody go after those animated Hulks. See what you can do. And there's the chain route. I was hoping a few more shots on this Black Arc Corsairs, but with 8 units remaining, I think they might remain alive. Let's hope that the Necrofex Colossus is dead for good and is not able to come back. Moment of truth, I guess. Alright, come on. I think that Necrofex Colossus came back last time we fought Noctilus, didn't it? On the bright side, though, Noctilus is starting to get pretty heavily damaged. I don't think he can take Martek or Kofur with what he has remaining, and that's exactly what we wanted. The 2 territories that he took lacked defenses, so it's hardly surprising that he took them. Ah, of course the frickin' Necrofex Colossus came back. The one unit I was really banking on not coming back, or hoping it wouldn't come back. Oh well. And he's going to sack the Sorcerer's Hands, and what, is he going to sit there, probably try to recruit? This will give us an opportunity to retake Lashik with the army that we've been building up at Kofar, but also another turn, obviously, to get a proper army here. We really need to sail a few armies out to the Galleon's graveyard as well, because I believe the AI are either programmed not to take it, or they are just incapable of doing so. I don't think I've ever seen an allied AI ever take out the Galleon's graveyard, at least in my experience. What about you guys? Have you seen an ally, or like anybody ever take the Galleon's graveyard? I always see it alive here, no matter what. But anyway, technology research. So, well, we're not going to pick a new tech as yet because we want to take advantage. And what are these guys doing? Lulric. Huh. Would we draw out the garrison here? No, he's standing just outside it. Sneaky, sneaky. And you cannot ambush here, but we could probably move away slightly and then ambush.
Move out.
Like, okay. Like...
Covering ground.
Really?
Stay together.
Really? One in view of another faction's army. We're pretty far from other faction's army here, guy. What the heck? Why can't we ambush? We should be plenty far enough. Is it because we're near an allied territory? What the heck is going on here? The problem with this is that they could teleport on top of us and kill off this army. I don't think we could do anything about that. Well, that's irritating. I really... Maybe you can't go into ambush when you're outside a friendly settlement either. What are we at in terms of movement remains? Well, we could try to move out here and hope. Okay, this was just enough. Okay, well, let's hope that it doesn't get foiled then. I mean, if they take Nahuantel, maybe they'll get damaged, but at the very least, maybe Peter might escape. We should also give him his points just in case the ambush does indeed get foiled. What were we going for here with you, Mr. Peter? And destroy the heart. You are immortal, though, so even if you die, we can get your... well, even if your army dies, we can get you back up and running. We need to send a proper army down here to help out. I was wondering whether we should go for Quiver of Akshi or Hail of Fire, and maybe since Hail of Fire actually buffs everybody, we'll get it first. Full plate armor, 90 armor on a Huntsman General, not looking too bad, and we are still not that near to Retinue. Takes a long time to get it. Enemy leadership or reduction, or... Devout Hunter Undeath, so leadership reduction for undead. I guess it'll depend on whether we actually fight the undead or not, so at the current time, it's not going to be super useful for us. Let's get Hidden Pass just to get that extra little bit of movement range for Peter. Alrighty, and then lastly, Mr. Mage. We have improved scrying techniques, so what would be useful against the Tzeentchans in particular? I mean, we could get Banishment. We're still probably going to get more mileage out of repeatedly just spamming Foz Protection Net of Amantok, although maybe Exorcism for now. Oh no, wait, you know what? Let's get Light of Battle. We'll get another point into it, and then we'll have area spell resistance against the Tzeentchans. That should actually prove reasonably useful. Anyway, that's that for Peter. And we'll see if he can manage. Where are you going, Boris? Wait, did he defeat the enemy little army at Monolith of Festerlung? Huh. Looks like he did. Peter! Or Nud. Well, you're not Peter, you're Nud. We could send you after Ragnar here. So here's the issue. We want to take the plains of Zanbaijin, obviously. But at the same time, if we leave this guy here, he might retake the Gallows Tree, which might force us to move back down there. And ooh, I see the granite spikes have fallen to the Tzeentchans, which might start reclaiming territory here. Granted, we don't super care about it because it's all just temp territory, but yeah. I'd really love to take these guys out for good, but I feel like we also want to deprive Archaon of any additional reinforcements. And attacking Ragnar probably means we won't be able to attack the plains of Zanbaijin in the same turn, but I think it still might be necessary. Alright, let's take out Ragnar then, and then we'll move to the plains next turn. Sorry, Nud, I know that you wanted to attack that place, but it's okay. We will execute captives, mostly because we don't do it often enough. And hey, we got a student for our trouble. And yeah, we can't reach the plains, but that's okay. You're gonna go into raiding, you're gonna raid it, or wait, if you go into March Dance, Can you reach the gallows tree? No. Well, of course it's bugged and now you're stuck, so you're gonna suffer attrition. Great. That's so irritating. Like, you can't see how far March Stance is going to go, and then you can't get back out of March Stance despite not moving. Definitely one of the more annoying bugs. But oh well, what can you do, Nut? I guess you're moving close to the Plains of Sunbai. I shouldn't have even risked it. I should have just stayed in Reigning Stance, because I knew the bug existed, and I shouldn't have relied on it not screwing us over. Well, since you're gonna suffer attrition anyway, let's get you a couple, or at least one of those heroes adjutants, and that's going to be another retarded adventure for that attrition reduction. Man, these things are expensive. 7.6k prestige for a single freaking retired adventurer. Alright, well, you are going to be in here, and we also do have that extra patrol captain and halberdiers. You already have one, so you're fine, but that doesn't mean somebody else can't make good use of it. Also, Karl, do we just leave Boris to his own devices and head to the Writhing Fortress? Maybe we do. This is all still attrition-y, but I guess this is all enemy territory as well. You know what, head out here. I'm just going to assume that Boris won't be able to die in a single turn. Both the Writhing Fortress and the Bleeding Spire are open to attack. If we can kill off the Cool, at least they will be able to threaten us no more. And then these guys can loop back around and deal with all this stuff. Alright, how about you, Kurt? You've got a few more turns of that damn plague. I'm tempted to start raiding territories belonging to Wintertooth, just so we can get something out of you, because you can't do anything while you're in, while you're damaged like this. We could also attack the Frozen Landing, but if we do, we're probably going to have to do so while, like a manual fight, right? It would be an opportunity to at least heal up our single entities. I mean, Kurt's already been fighting while damaged. You know what? Head to the Frozen Landing. Oh, there was that army belonging to that Demon Prince nearby, though. Ah, there he is. There he is, but it looks like he won't be able to reach us either way. Alright, man, playing very dangerously with Kurt, and he's not immortal either. Banner of Eternal Flame and Griffin Banner. I guess we'll give that to Kurt himself. And the Banner of the Eternal Flame, I'm not sure how to put it on. Maybe we'll put it on the Demigryph Knights. Encircle the place. We'll manually fight this, but I want to see if we can get a proper cinematic battle. Also, are you able to enter the army again? I think you are. Can't quite tell. I didn't see whether the bar was green or red there. Okay, no, you're good. We'll manually fight that, but let's look for a real fight first. Gregor Rodzinner. I doubt that there's anything else here. You can just grab some islands with a quick little auto-resolve, so just continue doing that. And in fact, stay away from any enemy armies. And oh, this guy's still alive. Nakari's faction should be destroyed at any time. Send to the wreck and auto-resolve it, please. Close to victory because of the garbage nature of this army, but hey, who knows? We may pick up something good out of one of these islands at some point. So we should still keep trying. And okay, nothing good for you, although 5,000 gold. Do we land? You know, I think we have to land or in order to heal. Oh, you're not able to land. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Should have put you into March Stance. Too late. Wolf from Custerman. Yes, you guys. You guys are heading to Noctilus, though Adolphus Kemp will reach him far, far quicker. Adolphus, head down there, and ooh, you're drawing reasonably close. And what does Noctilus have in his army? Well, he doesn't have any artillery. That's what he doesn't have. Leopold. Huh. We could actually reach the Sorcerer's Islands with you. Land there again, which would give Noctis only the option to go back to the Sheik, which could get taken by Adolphus Kemp. You know what? I kind of like that idea. You're going to go here. You're going to land at the Sorcerer's Islands, which will prevent Noctis from retaking it. Well, not retaking it, but taking it in general, I guess. Alright, and we're going to repair the place, and we really need those defenses up and running. I'm almost tempted to demolish the Clothier, but I guess we can upgrade you to level 3 or tier 3 as soon as you're up and running. You know what, now just demolish the Clothier, we're going to start building the defenses here immediately, because he's going to come back unless we send an army out there, and our armies are being built and or are busy. Wolf from Custerman and Luther Grauber. Now, I was going to send these two to deal with Noctilus. I guess the question is whether we need to do so, because that was sort of a detour for them while they've been trying to get down here to fight the Tzeentchians to help Volki out. Speaking of Volki, you go here. Alright, getting there, taking the fight to Tzeentch, or at least trying to get to, hopefully before they frickin' repeatedly halt our faction. Olafum Custerman. You know what, move here for now, rather than up there. I have a feeling we might be able to take care of Noctilus without you, which would be ideal. And Luther Grobber, you are going to replace troops, which is why Jamathius Warner is actually building all these guys, so yeah. It would take 2 turns to build more Sigmarite disciples, wouldn't it?
Ever vigilant. I live to serve.
We probably want more flagellants in here. 4 Sigmarite disciples isn't bad though. It would be much quicker to build 5 Sigmarite disciples and they'd still be able to move next turn, so I guess that's what we're gonna do. We could actually build 2 more at a global recruitment. And despite the cost, that'll put you at 19 out of 20. Yeah, you know what? That's fantastic. We'll do that. We'll do that. At least then the army will be able to move. It is a few too many flagellants, but you know what? That's fine by me. Also, are you buffing flagellants? Yes, you are. Beautiful. Alright. Well, that at least is decided, and they can head on down to Kairos, and we'll see how the flagellants can handle them. Now, Kurt Haldenstrat, you're gonna go into Trench's stance. Theon, I was gonna have you join the army, but you're rank 16 and Theon is, well actually Theon's rank 18. And then of Amantok and Shem's Burning Gaze. I'm just wondering whether we should move the Sorcerer out of this army, or have 2 Sorcerers in the army. And it's hard to say what would be more beneficial. And they both have some very useful stuff. Are the Free Company really giving us all that much value, I guess is the question. The problem obviously here is that we have no melee, but we could probably replace the Outriders, even though they are gun units, with other gun units like Null and Ironside. Let's see if this is auto-resolvable, although I doubt it will be, because the Heavy War Sleds will most likely be destroyed. No! We're actually good. Alright, well, oh, look at that. They've stolen the Free Company militia. Well, I guess that decides it. We're going to kill off our own Free Company militia. How to resolve it. Wait, what? It killed off the war sleds? Huh. That's weird. I didn't see that glow red in the auto-resolve. That's extremely irritating. We're gonna have to either rebuild the war sleds or maybe build another close combat unit. Well, a little bit upset about the war sleds, but what can you do? Do we have enough money to either rebuild them or build another unit of armored Cossars? We can just build another unit of armored Cossars. 21 allegiance is a little bit on the too expensive side, but, well, what else are we supposed to do? The Streltsy are not good enough in mail or in terms of their HP. Wait. 13,000 HP, 3635, 12,500 HP, 3140. Yeah, funnily enough, they're actually fairly decent in melee combat, but then again, so are our troops. These guys at least have shields. Maybe neither one. Maybe we get something better in here, but what the heck has guns and could still help us hold the line, as it were? Damn that auto-resolve screwing up our heavy war sleds. Maybe I missaw and it did in fact glow red. It probably did. Oh well. What can you do? At the very least, that faction is now gone, but that still doesn't give us the battle and we've been hankering for this episode. Wait, let's check down here. What do we have? So Luther Harkon is still out there. I imagine we can auto-resolve him. What about Peck? That's probably where we can find one. You go after Luther Harkon. He's gonna run, because obviously he's not fighting this. And where will he run? Oh, he's gonna go back all the way around the mountain. All the way around. Wait, can we reach him in regular stance? No. And we can reach Peck in... Nope. We have to go into regular stance. Okay, well at least we can reach Peck. Okay, well I guess that's the battle then. And then Luther Harkon will most likely retake either the Blood Swamps or Ashlodel, but without a settlement it should be relatively easy to destroy him. Alright, well this is the battle that we're taking this episode then, the last settlement of the Awakened. Just gotta get those points in there. I guess tenacity for you. Still no soulfire, right? One more level. I gotta get that soulfire. Pit of Shades for you, obviously. Fantastic spell, and we will be using it many more times. Here we go.
It will be done!
Alrighty, looks like the AI is true to form, immediately using its army abilities on our immediate summoned units and damaging them pretty heavily. Kind of interesting that the AI does like to do that, but oh well, what can you do? Can't blame it too much. Anyway, the battle is here. The Knights of More are back for, well, more, and we're going to be taking on another one of these hard targets, i.e. a second one of these heavily fortified vampire coast settlements, although I guess former lizard settlements. I don't think it'll be quite as hard to target as the Awakening was, but should still be pretty up there. Anyway, and the battle will begin with us bombarding those towers as best we can, knocking down 2 so far and a few more to take out. As we can see, between the towers and those enemy army abilities, our summoned units are in pretty bad shape, but at least the enemy has not managed to hit any of our other units, i.e. our non-summoned units, because they're quite busy hiding themselves in the forests nearby where they can't be targeted. Lovely. Anyway, the last of the towers should be going down fairly quick. At least we have a decent amount of arty to take care of these things reasonably fast, and then we can switch to targeting the enemy units up here. Gonna watch a bombardment just a little bit more, especially if we can kill off these damned deck gunners, but afterwards we can probably speed it up until we get to the battle proper. Alrighty, and oh wait, we gotta knock another tower down first, don't we? Alright, let's speed up through that, as we've seen plenty of bombardments throughout. And alright, now we should be good, right? Alrighty, time to switch targets. Ooh, another one of those Wraith Storms coming down. Unfortunately, the AI does seem to want to actually continuously use those spells on our summoned units, which is annoying in the sense that it's damaging them heavily, but not so annoying in the sense that it's much better that they do that rather than hit our other more valuable units, and that includes our artillery, especially since one of the great cannons has already lost one of the, well, cannons. Anyway, the other fort tower nearly done for, and I guess there will be one more out here, but the cannons should be able to take care of that one, while the mortars, as I was saying earlier, begin to target these deck gunners. Can't even try to approach the gates while these guys are still left alive, because they just rip us apart from on top of those walls. That said, we can rip them apart just as easily, as the mortars will arc towards them, and it looks like they are not even trying to get away, so the first of the units will begin to melt away. Also, our artillery can't actually see these sirens, but additional splash damage into them is also a boon to this part of the bombardment, as these guys will be quite annoying to take care of, and I believe the only magic damage source we have other than our, well, mage is our single unit of bordermen with a lich bone pennant. Now, like this little side temple that we've got here with the massive, presumably Dreadsorian skull, although in terms of scale, it's like 50 times the size, or maybe more than 50, a few hundred times the size, or 1,000 times the size. It's a big skull, is what I'm getting at. Can't quite tell if it's a real skull or whether it's just carved into it, but yeah, you gotta love these lizardman cities. They look pretty fantastic. Anyway, bombardment will continue for a while yet, but as I said, I think we've seen plenty of bombardment, so I'm just going to speed on through this aspect of the battle, and then we'll soon be able to move the rest of our army forward. Especially once those damn deck gunners are dead. The first one did melt away, but the second one is still running around there and doing a decent job of dodging our mortar shots, but it's not like we have any other particularly easy way of getting rid of them. And there is, however, a few other threats. The enemy has their own artillery, and plenty of them at that. Carronades, mortars, and mortars. 2 and 2. And we'll have to deal with those, so that will probably be a job for our wizard. On the bright side, though, he does have access to that Pit of Shades now, and that should be fairly decent at killing off enemy artillery. And ooh, looks like the deck gunners are nearly done for, as our mortars have finally managed to land enough shots among them, and they begin to crumble away. Perfect. I really didn't want the deck gunners sitting around out here, because once we've broken through the walls and are trying to break into the city, and they'd just be able to fire on us and probably do insane amounts of damage. So why risk it? Obviously, our own halberdiers are suffering from mortars as well. Getting a little bit of a taste of our own medicine, but the great swords have by and large made it through, the summoned great swords, towards the gate, which they're going to work on, while our bordermen start working on those sirens. Hopefully the summoned halberdiers will take the hits from the enemy mortars long enough for our bordermen and such to do the damage. There we go, here come those Arcane grenades. Obviously, we don't want the enemy mortars and carronades targeting our bordermen, because they're going to be pretty critical in this assault. Alrighty, let's see. That damage does not look pretty severe, but I believe... only one of the units has a Lichbone Penance, so and that's still going to be an issue. And it looks like, unlike the deck gunners, the sirens are very much willing to abandon the walls before they get destroyed, which ain't as great for us, but at least there's at least one more unit up here to target. In the meantime, we also have our mage, who is about to start moving away, and we're going to send him after those mortars, since we can't advance our Knights of More or our great swords really until they're gone. And there we go, I see those carronade shots are now smashing into our bordermen out here, so we're going to back them off until the artillery have been dealt with. Once again, a very pretty battlefield, though. I love this one. The lighting's great, everything's great. Other than the fact that the enemy has too much artillery for comfort. Anyway, our lord and our warrior priest are moving forward to help out with the gate a little bit. Looks like the enemy's still just a little bit in range, perhaps. I think those carronades, I actually couldn't tell. Wait, that might have been our own carronade firing through this unit. Or our own great cannons, rather, not carronade, but close enough. Damn, I didn't even realize when I was playing this that this cannon was doing that. Come on, guys. Gunners, arc a little bit higher, but yeah, these guys are like right along the ridge line. Oh, well, that's a shame, but what can you do? On the bright side, though, the enemy will also be taking losses shortly as our Grey Wizard moves towards the enemy artillery, which are all in a nice, neat line, so we're going to get that first spell of a Penumbral Pendulum right through them, and then follow it up with a nice Pit of Shades as well. There we go. And that should take care of at least one, maybe two of the artillery pieces, no problem. And then between the fact that our Wizard can smash into the enemy and they have no one guarding them, as well as a judicious application of Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, should be enough damage to see the rest of them off. So we are down from 4 to nearly 1. Though it does seem like this particular carronade did manage to survive quite a bit. Alrighty, and with the artillery no longer a threat, we are able to move the rest of our units forward. The Great Swords, the Bordermen, and soon the Knights of More as well start moving forward. Unfortunately, we're nearly out of ammunition on the, well, not the Great Cannons, but they're not going to be particularly useful here, on the Mortars. Makes me want to bring a war wagon of the mortar variety. There's a good reason why we keep putting those in our armies, and the ability to re-up all that ammunition is quite valuable. Certainly something I'm going to have to consider for this army, though I do want to replace a bunch of the artillery pieces in this army anyway. Well, not necessarily the mortars, because I like the pun, but at the very least the cannons, which frankly don't do too much, and in this particular battle actually hurt us a little bit as they damaged our own... bordermen or mortarmen, whichever one it was. It was the mortarmen. Well, at least they've gone to meet more. so they were aptly named. Alrighty, here come those great swords. Our gates have been broken through, or their gates have been broken through, rather. And we are going to move in here in just a little bit, just setting up the rest of our units before we head on in, especially considering the fact that the enemy has plenty of troops out there. Another penumbral pendulum, or not a penumbral pendulum, Pit of Shades comes down as some deck droppers decided to try to stop our wizard by trapping him in melee, though fortunately we were able to get away. And by popping that vortex, the wizard is down to about, let's say, I don't know, 30-ish% HP, so he's most definitely hurt. In the meantime, it's time to move on in. The summoned great swords will lead, trying to establish a beachhead in here, and we'll follow along with Simon, as well as his pet warrior priest here. Ooh, Cyrene's killing off a few of those great swords, though. And it's gonna be problematic to kill off the Sirens in here. We don't have Soulfire on the Warrior Priest as yet either. And here come those crabby boys, those very defensive rotting Prometheans, and these are the non-gunnery variety, so they will do less damage, but they will have even higher defensive stats. Though I prefer the gunnery variety. Honestly, I don't recall ever really using the regular ones as opposed to the gunnery ones, because the gunnery ones are just so good. I do really love the Krabby Boy units, so they're just very fun to watch, especially when they're pincering away at all of those melee units. Anyway, we've moved on in, which means we've got buffs for ourselves and debuffs for the enemies. The Helm of Discord coming in and at the very least hurting those rotting Prometheans' stats, but look at that, 72 melee defense, and that's with the Helm of Discord up, so yeah, that's a problem. On the bright side, just like our own cannons were hurting our own units, I do believe that the enemy's own range units will be a threat to their units as well, and then we still have our grenades, which can still arc over the walls. Man, you gotta love those grenade units. Back when I started the campaign, I had either not realized or had forgotten that grenade units can arc over walls, and it's been such a boon throughout this campaign as well. Anyway, through the breach we go as more greatswords pile in, and these are not summoned greatswords anymore, so we do have to be a little bit more careful about their losses. The enemy's got plenty more monstrous infantry out here as well. Mourngul's working together with more rotting Prometheans in the same way that the rotting Prometheans were working with the animated Hulks over on that side. Still have not yet established a proper beachhead in the enemy's settlement, and it looks like the enemy is able to get shots off with its range units as we keep giving it a try. Simon continues to swing away with that dual hander that he has. I do like the Knights of More version of the Grandmaster, looks pretty awesome as well. His weapon is very much raised. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen him put it down. He sleeps with his weapon raised. And his sword, too. Anyway, let's see how we're doing here. The balance of power is still about even, though I feel like just very, very slightly in the enemy's favor. Alright, and that's despite the losses the enemy suffered from on top of the walls, as well as the wizards' work, so we've still got plenty of work cut out for us. On the bright side, though, we got more reinforcements coming in, and not off the map, I mean, but the Knights of More are ready to join the fray, since the greatswords were having a little bit of trouble with all these monstrous infantry. And granted, the Knights of More are anti-infantry units themselves, and their cavalry at that, but adding their bodies, their mass to this pile of units fighting each other should still benefit us to a decent degree. Same thing going on over here. One of our greatsword units has unfortunately broken and or shattered, and the greatswords are still fighting in the breach, but are about to get some help from some of those Knights of More, hopefully. While in the meantime, we have begun to climb the walls as well. The bordermen are starting to climb up there, and hopefully we'll be able to start shooting the enemies down there soon. We're basically out of ammunition with on our mortars as well. And ooh, we're still getting some decent value out of the wizard, who managed to smash into the zombie-powered gunnery mob, and by virtue of the morale shock of him doing so, force it into a crumble as well. He also popped that Melkot's Mystifying Miasma on the zombie-powered gunnery mob that was attacking our bordermen up here, who are now going to begin firing those grenades in relatively small numbers while they climb, mind you, but still a decent amount of splash damage into those damn gunners. If nothing else, you gotta admit that the battles that the Vampire Coast has been providing throughout the campaign have been pretty darn fun. And this is a boarding crew. Yes, yeah, that is a boarding crew. So they're a hybrid unit, so they don't actually have to fire in range. The AI would have been much better served to put them into melee mode and go up on top of the walls instead to kill the bordermen in melee, where they definitely would have lost. But in a shootout, the bordermen obviously have the advantage here. And it looks like that boarding crew begins to crumble away. Well done to the bordermen. They remain a very high value unit. And then up here we have the second unit ready to climb. Unfortunately, we're kind of suffering a lot of damage over through the main gate. The warrior priest is badly hurt, Simon is badly hurt, and I believe the great swords have had to back off as well. So really, it's just the Knights of Moor and their Grandmaster fighting, and then half of these units are going to back off as well. And though we do have more great swords where that came from, we're just going to have to keep piling them in until we clear the place out. Alrighty, balance of power, however, has shifted in our favor. 18-minute long battles so far. If nothing else, these sieges are do have a tendency to be long battles. Second unit of bordermen, the mortarmen, not only having suffered shots from their own cannon companions to the back, are now getting shot up by multiple enemy units from fairly decent positions up here. Since they're firing directly on top of the walls instead of from below, it looks like they can get a lot more hits accurately in. But what can you do except stream more knights into the settlement and hope that they can stop the enemy from firing? Here come the Knights of Caliban. They're down to about half of their HP, but it looks like at the very least the animated hulks have been by and large destroyed, and this allows the Cav to tie up all those range units. Beautiful. Alrighty, well, not all of them quite yet. That zombie-powered gunnery mob is still firing into our poor mortarmen, but, well, soon. We have more knights where that came from, and more will head in to the city. And the knights will as well. Alright, just enjoying the spectacle here. Slash taking a drink. You do get parched when you talk non-stop doing these things all the time. Anyway, let's see what we're at. Another one of the enemy zombie pirate gunnery mobs, this time with handguns, has been broken by our unit of Cav, so we can head up there as soon as these guys are all crumbled. Come on now, we really need to stop these guys from firing on the poor bordermen. Mortarmen, I should say. Although it's looking pretty okay. Plus, the mortarmen are actually able to fire back. They've gotten sufficient numbers, and they're actually getting some support from those cannons. Perhaps the cannons are a little bit sorry about all the damage they did to them. There we go. Yeah, kill them all, or at least try to, although technically they're already dead, but you know. Alrighty, we're making it this way up the hill. The animated hulks, or a second set of animated hulks, holding with Cat Bloodletter, their vampire fleet admiral, and preventing us from going up this hill. But this is why we separated our knights, so that these guys can go around and engage these poor zombies in melee. Beautiful. With the zombies engaged, the last of the enemy range units is no longer able to function as range, and it looks like the balance of power shifts in our favor sufficiently that the enemy army begins to crumble away. Actually, just judging by the amount of units left on the field, they pretty much expended all of their units. And we expended plenty as well. The bordermen are out of ammunition here, and the mortarmen do still have some left, but still pretty bad. And a lot of our great swords and our knights are all pretty badly damaged after all this. Still, they did manage to grind their way through, and this is the last of of the Vampire Coast's big settlements, so as long as Luther Harkon isn't able to attack us immediately next turn, we should still be good. And I'll have to double check that right after. If he can still attack us, it'll be a concern, let's say, because we're pretty darn badly damaged, but at least we have our mana back up. But I am also getting ahead of myself. Ooh, I love the way that the grenades light up the darkness, though. Light up the darkness with the explosion of grenades. In the ranks of your enemies, I mean. Potential title for the episode, but probably too long. Alrighty, and with that last unit destroyed, I do believe we are done here. There's one sitting around out here, a zombie-powered gunnery mob with handguns, but it should melt away as soon as we draw near. There we go, it begins to crumble, and hey, the Knights of More will perhaps get a charge into them. One last one. In fact, from both sides. So then I should go. There we go. This army is obviously a little bit better in field battles than it is at taking settlements, but I suppose it's been no slouch at taking these hard targets either. Just got to get a little bit of those artillery upgrades. Fantastic. Alright, and a Pyrrhic victory, hardly surprising. Not only did we take a lot of damage, but we also ran out of lots and lots of our ammunition. In fact, all of our ammunition on our artillery and on one of the bordermen. But yeah, it's still quite a bit. And yeah, I can see this one being Pyrrhic. I always like to wonder about or muse on whether the judgment of the battle was correct, because sometimes it's just so off, but I'll take this one. Alrighty, a Pyrrhic victory, but hardly surprising considering the defenses that were arrayed against us and what we went through to previously get the Awakening, as this was something similar. Fortunately, this is the last of the major strongholds belonging to Luther Harkon, which means he's got just the one, just the one army, I guess, left, no settlement. Now, he will most likely be able to retake either the Blood Swamps or Ashlodel. I don't think he can move to Peck itself to siege us, although I guess we'll have to see. If he can't, which it'll mean we can heal up and then return to one of these places, which is fine, but it's also why we're not going to bother leveling any of them up, because we're also going to trade all of this back to Itza and back to the Bordello Errant. Before we do so, perhaps we want to build a few artillery pieces here for Simon, though, because the cannons, they're really just not doing it for me in this particular army. So let's get a Temple Lord, like, let's say Vasily Fisher, he does have discipline, and then you can get, let's say, 2 units of Hellstorms, and oh, you can't build the you cannot build. Why? Wait, does it need to be tier 5? Whoa. Oh yeah, we can't access Hellblaster Volleygans until tier 5. Oh, what about via global recruitment? They take 4 turns, I take it. Please don't be 6. Now it's 4. It's not horrible. Alright, I guess we'll take 5 turns to build them. Damn, that's going to take a long time to get, because 5 turns at this point in the campaign is absolute ages. But oh well, we still do need to replace a few of the weaker artillery pieces. I guess what we could do is actually just build the Hellstorms and then swap out those cannons, and then get the Hellblasters in there afterwards instead. Yeah, that'll hurt our range capabilities, but at the very least it'll, well, the Hellstorms will be able to range the same way as the Great Cannons. Well, yeah, no, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. Anyway, with that, we're pretty much out of time, so I'm gonna, oh wow, we are most definitely out of time. I'm gonna call the episode here. Next time, we'll try to hunt down Luther Harkon if we can manage to end the turn. I don't know how many more moves we have to make in terms of this particular turn, but there's certainly at least some. So we'll take care of that. We'll try to end the turn and then proceed to advance at all sides, as we've been doing. Still plenty of places where we got potential fights, so stay tuned for all that. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.